Welcome to Righteous Pursuits. This is Charissa and thanks for tuning in once again. So, sometime this week I had a conversation with someone and it was an interesting one. We talked on how people shouldn't underestimate or judge people for where they are in life. Just because someone seems to be in a low place, or it may seem to a person that that person is not successful, or they may seem like they aren't getting anywhere in life, that doesn't mean that their life is going to be that way forever. Let me give an example, okay? We could look at this economy now. The economy has taken a big hit as a result of this whole pandemic. Many people have lost their jobs in this time, and many businesses have taken a huge hit when it comes to making a profit this year because of what is happening socially and globally. And so, because of this serious crisis, there are a lot of people who have lost a lot of money. There are some who find themselves being in a status of being rich, and now they find themselves being in a status of being poor or in the middle class range now. This person, we were talking about it, and we just was talking about how things can change. Life can change in a second. Life can totally change. That's why it's so important to keep your trust and hope in God, so that when things happen in your life, that you know who the source is. You know who your strength comes from. No matter what happens to your finances, you know that God gave you the finances and He could give you your finances back. And so, going back to my point, I don't want to drift off, but going back to my point, people like to estimate where people are. A person may not be in a nice job. To people, that job is not a nice job to work on. They find that job not to be an ideal job. It's a job that probably people may look down at. But, in my head, I'm thinking, that's a job. At least they are making some type of money. They aren't going out there stealing or, trying to do different illegal things to get money. They're making an honest living. And you find people tend to judge people on those types of jobs. But the thing is, you can't judge people where they are, because things change. That person who you see on that type of job, the job that you may detest, or the job that you look down at, they may be at that place for a particular season, and God will release them from that job and take them into a better job, making more money and having basically more pay. People believe that people's situations can change, that persons, just because they see them at a certain stage or a certain level in their life, it looks like God isn't with them, or it looks like their life isn't making much sense. They're looking like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Why are you doing this particular job? Why haven't you progressed from where you were? Why are you still in the same place? They're basically looking down at you because they don't understand what God is doing in your life. They don't understand that you were or are in a place where God is training you and testing you. They don't understand that. In this journey of life, we all run our own race. So just because people are going ahead, it seems like people are going ahead of you, and things are happening quickly for people, you may be the turtle in the race. You're keeping up a certain speed and you're going a bit slow compared to the other persons in the race. But that doesn't mean that you will not reach the end of the race. It doesn't mean that you have lost just because you haven't reached the end of that race. You will get there. It may take some time, but you will get there if you choose not to give up. If you choose not to throw in the towel and say, you know what, God, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick and tired of people moving ahead of me. I'm sick and tired of things not lining up. It just doesn't seem like things are working in my life. I don't know what's going on, Lord. I don't know. But if you decide to just give up on God and the path that He has for you, you won't see the blessings at the end of that race because you decided not to endure. But if you do decide to endure and trust the process, then you would be able to see the benefits of you continuously trying to have faith and not lose hope. When we persevere, we are strengthened by God. When we wait on the Lord, we develop perseverance, And so, when it comes to people, judging where others are in a certain or particular point in their lives, they have to be careful with that, because you may be looking at that person being at a low place, and you may switch roles with that other person who you are looking down at. Seasons change. There are times when you have a season where you aren't making much money. You're working odd jobs trying to make your dreams reality, You're working odd jobs just to move your life in the right direction with the strength of God. Okay? And there are a lot of great people who came out of jobs, different jobs, odd jobs, and different types of jobs that became very successful, regardless of how people perceived them, regardless of the stupid remarks people made about them on those jobs or being at a particular place in their lives. They still continued the jobs. They didn't allow the opinions of people, even people in their family, to prevent them from pursuing or doing what they could to change their life for the better. They trusted God and they trusted the process. And the thing is, faith is a serious thing. When it comes to having a walk with God, you have to ask God to strengthen your faith. Because if you allow the things that you see to determine how your life will be and your emotions are based on what you see, it's going to put you in a really bad place. When you're on that job or when you are at that certain level in life, a level in which God is growing you into something beautiful, you have to remember that He has you there for a purpose and plan. There are things you need to learn when it comes to that season you're in. Don't despise your small beginnings, but embrace your small beginnings. Okay? Of course, the small beginnings doesn't feel good all the time. A lot of the time, it don't feel good. But you are going to appreciate it when it's all finished, when you have completed that part of your life. You're going to appreciate the small beginnings. You're going to appreciate the lessons that you have learned when you have completed those things. It's good to get something out of those small beginnings. Learn what you could learn from those small beginnings. Don't waste the time that you have while you are in that season. We could look at the story of David. David was a sheep herder. He used to keep sheep. I'm sure that when the Lord told the prophet Samuel that David was going to be the king, that his brothers didn't see that coming because they're thinking David isn't really a person who comes off as someone would be a king. But to God, David possessed or had the potential to be king. People around him, even his father, was surprised when the prophet Samuel said that the Lord wanted David to be king because he was a sheep herder. He dealt with sheep. He didn't come off as someone who would be in war or do things like that, because of the type of job he had. But God saw his heart. He didn't look at his appearance. He saw his heart. And he knew that David would still be a good fit to be king because he possessed the potential. He had what it took to fill the role as a king. So don't despise those small beginnings, okay? Those small beginnings are going to birth something great in your life. It doesn't matter if people may look down at where you are currently, but the tables will turn, and those same people who look down at you will see what God is doing in your life. As long as you stay humble, they will see the hand of God in your life. And they shall truly understand and know the God that you serve, okay? Even when people look down at you and devalue you and treat you like you don't matter, you still love them. You show love towards them. You show the grace, and you still show mercy to people. Even when God turns things around in your life, and when the tables have turned, you still show love to people regardless. Don't hold things in. Don't hold things in. Ask God to change the hearts of those people when they decide to do you wrong and say certain things and all manner of evil against you. You still continue to pray for them. You don't want anyone or anything to cause you to lose your place in heaven. I'm not going to allow anybody to cause me to lose my spot in heaven. And that's how you have to be. You can't have unforgiveness and other things like that cause you or prevent you to miss your spot in heaven. And so, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think. It only matters what God thinks. And even though not everyone will understand the path you're on and what you're doing at this time, and they're probably like, what possibly is she doing or is he doing at this time? Like, seems like they have been doing the same thing for so many years. Seems like nothing changed for them. Seems like they still ain't married yet. Seems like nothing new happening in their life. But little do they know, God is doing a work within you. He is doing a work inside of you. Just because they don't see what you are doing in the background or what God is doing in the background doesn't mean that nothing is happening for you. And so you don't have anything to prove to anyone. Just do what God wants you to do, and always be thankful of your small beginning, because there's so many good lessons you can get out of it. And once you learn from certain situations and get lessons from it, you are going to find it as a blessing in disguise. You're going to find the hardships and the things that seem difficult in your life as blessings in disguise. So that's all I wanted to discuss, guys. Keep your faith up, and remember, God is faithful and He is true. Bye.